What if you could create more kindness in the world just by being you? Everyone has the potential to create and receive more kindness. What if kindness is more than being nice and compassionate to others? Have you ever considered what having more kindness for you could create in your life? Get ready to learn how the energy of kindness is integral to reducing stress in your life and how it can assist in healing your body. Now, here is the host of Cultivating Kindness with Karen, facilitator of healing, Karen Leslie.
Well, hello, everybody. Thank you for being here with me. I'm super happy that you're here today. We have a really unique episode of Cultivating Kindness with Karen today. And let's just say that I have been experiencing different things to bring forward to you since about 5:30 a.m. this morning. So it'll be great. It will be really, really great. It will. You know, when I just logged on with my producer, even on my screen for my computer, like all the background here that for those of you that watch on the live TV versions of it, I've got this beautiful painting behind me and everything. And when I logged in, there was just like white. There was nothing there. And I'm just like, and it was like I was just coming out of this white light. We were saying, wow, that would have been really cool to have caught on the recording. But it's just been how my morning has been. And for me right now, it's 2 o'clock Eastern time, where I live in Southern Ontario here in Canada. So it's been going on for a few hours. So what is all of this I'm mumbling on about? I haven't even told you the name of the show. Well, this is all about managing downloads and activations. For some of you, you will know exactly what that means. If you've been exposed to these words, perhaps through energy work or different books or texts that you read or things, you may have a sense of what these two words mean. And for some, this may be a very new concept for you. And that's really cool that you've chosen to listen in for something that's so perhaps different or maybe out of the box thinking for you and how you work through with your life and your days. So regardless, I do feel I will bring some new information or a new way of looking at something based on my perspective, and I hope everyone enjoys. So this whole idea of activations and downloads, it has, oh my gosh, I'm just hearing it has so many myths and so many facts and so many stories and I think there's just all these words coming in about downloads and activations. So I'll be presenting all different ways, perhaps, of looking at it. We'll see where we go with this. What's key is for you to see what feels right and true for you and leave the rest behind. It's all fine. It doesn't matter. There may be a few things that I say that you will kind of go, huh, well, maybe. I'm not sure about that, but possibly. Also just fine. This whole idea, it can be steeped in tradition, very ancient tradition. And it can be brand new, very modern, and relevant today as well. There are some people out there that have this feeling that a download or a spiritual activation, or some will call it a spiritual awakening, is reserved for the few. That it's something that, only certain individuals are either privy to experiencing or are worthy of experiencing it or have done enough work that they're able to experience it and cope with it. I challenge all of that, to be perfectly honest. And I definitely had that way of looking at it. When I started with energy work, pretty close on to 30 years ago now, that's how these things were presented to me, that there was this mysticism around them and they were reserved for only the masters or those who had really put in their time or somebody who arrived here under very special circumstances, and they were already ahead of everybody that's, that's around them. And so there was this aspect for me of, let's see, partly I was afraid of these words because I was like, well, who am I to think that I could be one that could qualify to receive anything like this? There was also like a bit of like being in awe that there are people that receive this type of energy. There was this aspect of longing. Like, I wonder if I could. Is it possible? But all of this really left me feeling quite confused. And I really kind of just turned my back on it. I'm thinking, okay, that's just not going to happen for me. The combination of the awe and the fear just brought in so much doubt. So much doubt. So I hope to take away that doubt for you today, right? Downloads and activations can happen to absolutely everybody and all of us. And they happen more often than you may be aware. And by the end of the show, I hope to change that and have you have a greater understanding about all of this. They are for everyone. They are not reserved only for the special, the initiate, the master of something. Everything's energy, and we are energy. And as a result, energy speaks to energy. So why would the energy that comprises you, your body, and your energetic fields not be able to communicate with these other forms of energy? My personal opinion, to me, it doesn't make sense. I'm not aware of any sort of invisible energy barrier or wall that's out there around people that stops that from coming in. I am aware that people can be how I was, where my personal belief system can stop it. Doesn't mean it never came to me, that a download never arrived, or that activation never arrived, but I could choose to refuse to see it. I know I chose to refuse to see it. Even when evidence was mounting, I would just go, nah, that was just a one-off. That was a fluke. Oh, I'm sure it wasn't even really a download because it was something I wasn't ready for or open to working with. And I think that is what is more common. And perhaps that has been a little bit of why we have viewed only certain people that would receive this type of information. It's actually, I'm hearing it was very much that way, in that for a long time, people were told it is only for the special. It is only for the initiative. It is only for the gifted. And that's not you. Well, I don't believe that anymore. I believe, as I said, energy is energy. Energy talks to energy all the time. But it's our own belief systems and what we buy into that would make it either easier for us to work with it or perhaps more difficult. So really, like, what the heck am I even talking about? So what is a download? What is like an activation? Let's go there right now. So, all right, what the heck is a download? Well, a download is just information that comes to you and everything's going to be in very simple terms, okay? Somebody is really here, sitting here. Just hold on. Okay. So a download is information that comes through in many different ways. It's a thought. It can be just a single thought or a single word. You'll hear musicians say, someone will talk to them and say, hey, that was a great song that you wrote. Where did it come from? And sometimes the musician just says, or the writer just goes, I don't know. It just arrived. A download. It can come as a song. It can come as a book. It can come as a poem. It can also arrive as words you just speak and you think, wow, why did I just say that? You know? So there's a whole new, like, not a whole new, well, yes, okay. For some of you, it will be a whole new way of recognizing what's happening around you and within you. But a download is just a bit of information that filters down through to you that you allow yourself to be aware of and do something with. And the do something with can even be just, okay, I'm going to set that aside and look at it later. But you've acknowledged it, you're aware of it. And so it's received. Your choice as to whether or not you wish to actually act on it or anything. But that's, an example of it. It can also come as a dream or a vision, an image that pops, like you actually in your imagination, you see an image come forward. That can be it. When you're out walking, you could just get these thoughts that just appear what it seems like out of nowhere. And that's kind of a simple definition of a download. It's just an idea or a word or something that just kind of comes out of nowhere. And, your choice what you want to do with it. Now, an activation, or some people will call it an awakening, and I chose not to use that word in the title, but that will look different. They are different from each other from my perspective. An activation or awakening can look like your sensitivities really increase. And it doesn't mean just your sensitivities to spirit, to connecting with spirit, to hearing spirit, to being more intuitive. It can, but your sensitivities to a food could change. Your sensitivity with smells and fragrances around you can change. Yeah, there could be some fragrances that you smell them and you go, oh my gosh, I don't think I've ever smelled anything so beautiful. And you can go to the other side and go, whoa, I can't handle fragrance at all, or the smell of certain foods or whatever it be. So sensitivities to things, anything can change. It heightens. You become more sensitive in some way. You can become more intuitive, or your gut instincts become a little stronger and you start noticing, oh, that's pretty accurate. So that can happen. Your emotions can really change with an activation. Your feelings can be felt deeper. You could experience feelings that are new to you. An activation can bring in chaos. I've been hearing that word all morning. Can just bring in chaos. And the reason I say this is because the awakening or activation can challenge you in your belief systems. And when our belief systems are challenged, that can bring forward an element of chaos into our life. So you could actually feel quite disconnected from yourself. You could look in the mirror and go, I don't really recognize myself. Like, what could have changed? Or how you want to present yourself in the world. All of a sudden, there's a shift in how you wish to be. And you're not quite sure, like, where did this come from? That can be part of this awakening. And when we don't have that strong sense of who we are, like we had, it can be an hour ago or longer, that again will challenge us and can bring in some chaos to us. Some people may get fatigue. One of the ways that spirit or energy will choose to work with us is actually to make us tired, because it's easier for the energy to work with us when we're sleeping. So you could have extra fatigue. You could be feeling more stressed because everything's just feeling different and odd, and that may be uncomfortable to you. Some people may get some headaches. There's no rule from what I have personally experienced as to what is possible or what is not. possible. Like, so when somebody talks to me about something, I don't discount it because it's not on my list of what I'm aware of that would happen with an activation. Everyone's unique. But we have this sort of broad spectrum of guidelines, we'll call it that way, that we can use as reference points to help ourselves. Downloads, as I was saying, are really usually very quick. Like it's just in the moment. An activation can be quick. Yes, it can. It can also be as a result of something traumatic in your life, an accident, a near-death experience, something that's trauma related can be that springboard for an activation as well. So there's so many different ways to look at it. Well, with near death, people will sometimes say that, when they've been brought back, that they just know everything's different. Other times, if there's been something traumatic or an accident or something, there may be a healing phase first for your physical body. And then as you're moving through that, you start to get an awareness of how things have shifted or changed. And it can be a much longer process for some people. The key for all of this, be open. Be open-minded. Allow your beliefs to be challenged. And that can bring in some chaos, like I just said. I get it. But what if? What if it was possible? And by the end of today's show, I'm hoping you will have a different understanding of this, that, oh, what if that's okay? That would be fine. Or what if, oh, I don't need to be afraid of that. Or what if this is a download? Awesome. What can I do with it? To take the doubt away, to take this double standard away from it, and to truly have this understanding that this is available for every single being on the planet. On that note, we're going to go to our first break. So thank you for being here on the Inspired Choices Network with myself, Karen Leslie, your host for Cultivating Kindness with Karen. A really interesting topic, and there's so much more I want to chat to you about when we get back. Now, if you're listening live, by all means, please come over to the chat room on the Inspired Choices Network. It's just inspiredchoicesnetwork.com, and then come into the chat room when you see it in the banner up at the top of the site. And bring your questions or maybe some of your experiences and join in the conversation. So here's your opportunity to come on across. We'll be back just in a couple of minutes, so don't go away. I have so much more to share with you. All right, thanks, everybody.
We all have different experiences with and definitions of kindness. These experiences and beliefs about kindness have influenced who we are today and how we see the world. The universe is always listening. So what are you telling the universe today? Tune in to Cultivating Kindness with Karen each week as Karen guides you to understanding how each choice you are making is either keeping you stuck or opening up the energy of empowerment for you. Listen to Cultivating Kindness with Karen, Wednesdays at 2 p.m. Eastern Time, 1 p.m. Central Time, 12 p.m. Mountain Time, 11 a.m. Pacific Time on InspiredChoicesNetwork.com.
Are you a subject matter expert? Are you here to share your expertise with an audience waiting to hear from you in only the way you can deliver? Are you ready to have your voice amplified across the airwaves? Inspired Choices Network has a global radio platform streaming to millions of people across the world. Professionally produced and supported by an accomplished team every step of the way, you can broadcast from anywhere in the world, knowing your voice matters, and we ensure it is delivered with ease and efficiency. Eager to hear your message, the world awaits. Contact us today to become an Inspired Choices Network radio host. Email becomeahost@inspiredchoicesnetwork.com.
This is Cultivating Kindness with Karen. To participate in the program, join the live studio audience in our chat room at inspiredchoicesnetwork.com. You can also send an email to Karen at karenleslie.ca. Now, back to the program.
Welcome back, everybody. All right, we're going to dive right back into managing downloads and activations. So I talked a little bit about what a download is and an activation is in the first segment, and I probably will go back to further explanations about those as we go through the show. That was a very little snippet for you. I'd like to let you know how this even came about. You know, I use oracle cards when I am creating my shows. And this one deck was really speaking loudly to me when I was just saying, all right, so what information, what message, what would you like to share on the Cultivating Kindness show on? And then I give the date, and then I just shuffle my cards and I just wait. And I always let 2 cards fall out of the deck. It's extraordinarily rare that I actually pick a card. They almost always, like 99.5%, like fall out of the deck. So one card did, continued to shuffle, a next card came out, and these were 2 companion cards that work together that came out of the deck. And I thought, oh, that's going to be interesting. So they have a similar message and they work together. They are very much a unit. And the card called Lady Venus and the other card called Sanata Kumara, they are all about truth and inner guidance and bringing forth your light and communication, like clear, loud communication from them, from spirit to you, not so much how you communicate. You know, they are saying that now is the time for truth to be revealed. And that can be very much in how downloads come through, that information comes through for you that possibly you are to share with others, or it's information for you, for your own personal benefit or growth. The cards were talking about that now is the time for you to be holding that soul-centered space, and that you have the ability for additional information to come through for you, to give you and help you with developing a new level of understanding. And that is so much about what Cultivating Kindness with Karen is, right? I'm always talking about 2 sides of the same coin and trying to bring to you a different perspective, a new level of understanding. You know, they're both very heart and light centered. Kind of like hence the light when I showed up before we started recording the show. And the message is shine your light. Allow that brightness to come forward into the world, because each and every one of us is here to light up the world. Now, some of us are farther away from being able to do that than other people, and that's okay. But everyone has the ability to step into that if they choose to. And one of the ways is by listening to that inner voice, by listening to a download when it comes through, and allowing yourself to be aware of an activation or an awakening. I went to the etymology site as well, and I looked up the word activation. Very simple. Action or process of making or being operative. It was 1906. It wasn't very long ago. It's just from the word active. So when we look at it from the spiritual sense, so it's just a process to make something active within you. And as to what that, let's rephrase that, as to what will become active within you will vary from person to person, and will vary for different times within the same person as well. So activation is just making something active. Download, it said it's action or process of transferring from the storage of a larger system to that of a smaller one. And this actually really made me smile, as it does again when I share it with you. Such a larger system out around us. It's infinite. And so it's information, an action, or a process that is coming through from the greater around us into a smaller container. You and me, we are those smaller containers. It is just moving something from one space to another space. Here they're saying a larger space to a smaller space. Well, that fits. That totally fits. And that was even newer. That was from 1977 that I found that one. There was no information from the 12th century or 13th century like I'm used to finding. It was really interesting. So we've got this new way of looking at these two words that breaks them down to be very simplistic, easy to understand. And that's part of my goal with the show. Take the wonder and the mysticism out of this and understand it's here for every person. I've got a comment in the chat room here saying, I only thought that super spiritual people could get downloads and activations, but you say we all can? Yes, absolutely. And then there's a question, how do we know when we are getting a download or an activation? Well, I'll give you an example of one this morning, my 5:30 a.m. one. It was a download. So I get up early anyways every morning because I have a 6 a.m. call I'm on with my coach, one of my coaches. And at 5:30, I was sitting in my office and I thought, all right, I don't have a sense as to what I want to be doing for this morning's guided meditation. I'm doing a series of 10 guided meditations for some clients. And I thought, okay, so I'll just take a few minutes now. So I settled in. I went into what we maybe call a more meditative state. I have some set steps that I do for that. And then I just asked for guidance. That was the word I used. Guidance for the meditation today. And then immediately I saw images in my imagination and was hearing questions and words. And so I just got my pen and paper out and I started writing down everything that was coming through. I didn't pause to question or ask. I was just writing. And I got probably about 2/3 of the meditation. They're only about 20 minutes, but I got about 2/3 of what I was going to be working with for it. And then it was 6 o'clock and my call was starting and I got on my call. And within, honest to goodness, within 2, maybe 3 minutes of being on the call, so between 6:02 and 6:03, my coach filled in the last bit of the meditation. She has no idea I'm doing this, wasn't privy to what I was doing before the call started, but the words she spoke to the group of us were exactly in line with the information I had received, confirming the download and giving me the extra that I needed. I ran out of time and came out of the meditation, and the information was still delivered through her for me and then for everybody this morning. That was my download. This is how you can have one, because something out of the blue arrives in, like I was saying earlier. An activation, that can be a little bit different. And we're going to talk about that when we come back, because we are at our second break already. So while we're on our break, maybe, think about times where thoughts come forward, or an idea for a project, or you're thinking, I'd like to learn more about, and some idea comes forward. And then you're in a bookstore or you're online and that title just pops for you and you see it, you look at it and you go, that's exactly what I was looking for. That's an example of a download. You asked the question was given to you, and then you had the awareness to see what book it was that was going to be so helpful for you. And then you read the book and you go, oh my goodness, this is exactly what I was looking for. Oh, this is exactly the type of information I was seeking. Or if it's a nonfiction, no, sorry, a fictional book, you can say, this is the story I've been longing to read, to really relax and go into that fantasy world. Whatever it is, it's going to be perfect and correct and bang on just for you. You could recommend that book to someone else and it may fall totally flat because it was meant for you. All right, think about that. When we come back, we'll carry on this conversations about how to manage downloads and activations. Thank you for being here on the Inspired Choices Network with me. And remember, you can always send me an email, Karen@KarenLeslie.ca, and Leslie is spelled Leslie. All right, don't go away. We'll be right back, everybody. Thanks.
We all have different experiences with and definitions of kindness. These experiences and beliefs about kindness have influenced who we are today and how we see the world. The universe is always listening. So what are you telling the universe today? Tune in to Cultivating Kindness with Karen each week as Karen guides you to understanding how each choice you are making is either keeping you stuck or opening up the energy of empowerment for you. Listen to Cultivating Kindness with Karen, Wednesdays at 2 p.m. Eastern Time, 1 p.m. Central Time, 12 p.m. Mountain Time, 11 a.m. Pacific Time on InspiredChoicesNetwork.com.
How wonderful would it be to carry your favorite Inspired Choices Network host with you throughout your day? Well, now you can. Inspired Choices Network now has its very own mobile app. Our free app offers live streaming shows, along with thousands of podcasts and TV episodes. Our shows cover a wide variety of topics. Whether you're waking up with us, carrying us through the day, and taking us to bed with you, we're always here for you to enjoy. We're easy to find. Just search for Inspired Choices Network in the Apple App Store or Google Play Store.
This is Cultivating Kindness with Karen. To participate in the program, join the live studio audience in our chat room at InspiredChoicesNetwork.com. You can also send an email to Karen@KarenLeslie.ca. Now, back to the program.
Welcome back, everybody. So comment in the chat box here. I just brush those moments off, right? We do, until we recognize that we have the choice to not and to pay some attention to them. The more you're open to being aware of yourself, being very present, right? You know, I'm such an advocate for be connected to your body. Be aware of the thoughts you're thinking, the words you're speaking, the energy you're being. Know what your emotions are. And yeah, we're going to have emotions that don't feel comfortable. But, a really good way to look at those emotions when we get uncomfortable with them, or they're an emotion that it just pulls us down, and then we can go again, down and down. And it just is, like a cycle sometimes. Well, that is really just an indication that you have left being connected to you and to the greater, to the energy around you, to spirit, to God, to whoever, whatever words, creator that you use. Those emotions can be your guidepost. And when you start to feel, in air quotes, down, or in air quotes, flat, then that can be your nudge to like, oh, wait, what's happening? What was I just thinking about? Or what did I just read? And you come back to being present. And then you have that awareness now, and you can shift it right then and there. Most of them are really just like a guidepost for us. Now, sometimes difficult emotions come through other events. Absolutely. Things like grief. Anger is just a guidepost. It's not there as a reason for you to be aggressive or assertive or get into conflict. It's there as a guidepost. But grief or deep sadness with a loss, yes, there's information there with it. Absolutely. But the reason for it may be a little bit different. And again, that could be another show, although I did do a show with Tammy Adams. You can go back and look through it where my shows are stored, where your podcasts are. And it's on grief, and it's excellent. Tammy's wonderful. So this, I want to go into the awakening a little bit more. How do I? Okay, first I'm going to back up again. Downloads you don't usually prepare for. Downloads, they're just there and they happen. Awakening and activation, they can, as I said in the first segment, they can just happen. But you can also set yourself up energetically to be able to receive them should you choose to. And there's different ways to do it. There's different spiritual practices you can follow. Yoga can be a great one to do because the whole idea is to reconnect to your body. Meditation is fabulous. Walking a labyrinth is another great way. Being in nature just in general. Excuse me. These are all ways where you can make the conscious choice to be more present in your body, to feel your emotions, to hear your thoughts, listen to the words you're speaking, and be very aware of what your beliefs are. You will start to strengthen the connection within yourself and your energetic connection to spirit. It's like you're sort of building that bridge or laying the bricks together, building that road for you to connect. Heart links. I've spoken about the heart link a few times and just a few episodes again recently. Right? You can go to my YouTube channel and you'll find the heart link video on there. That's a way for you to start to increase your connection as well to angels or to the spirit realm. But it's really helpful to be very connected to yourself. And when you are really connected to yourself, you are going to have less times of being derailed by emotions that are acting often as a distraction. Again, another whole show. Okay. You can create a sacred space. Fancy words. You can just create a space that you like to be in. If you love to be there, if it feels good to you, it's a sacred space. We have all kinds of rituals and very firm suggestions from some people as to what a sacred space must look like. It's up to you to design the space for you that feels good for you. Yes, you can have crystals. Yes, you can have a candle. Yes, you can have it a certain color painted. Yes, you can sit on the floor on a meditation cushion, or you can sit on a chair, or like you can do any of that. What works for you and your body? That is what is most important. Oh, I see. Yes, please do that show. I have no idea what that is. So if you can remember what it was I said that you responded on that, please put it in for me. So this is part of when things just pop out. So connecting to your body will really help. It helps to balance the energies because you become more aware of what the energies are and when they shift and move, which puts you as being the essential, like being that primary element, and empowers you to make the changes that you should or may desire. All right. Okay. They're saying that with downloads, they can really be handled pretty well on their own. You can seek some advice or some help from some people around you if you want. Be really careful who you ask advice from. Check in again with your body and with your knowing as to who you wish to share information with and who you may choose to not do so. If the person does not look at things or is not open-minded about something that could be new or different, then your answer or your response from them is going to be very much in line with their own judgments. That may not be helpful for you. With activations or awakenings, sometimes it may be very, very helpful to get the help from an energy healer to help your body with adjusting to the changes, because these changes can come through on a cellular level. They actually can change your cell structure. They can change what's going on in your body on a molecular level. It doesn't need to be bad or scary, but it can happen. And sometimes it happens with more ease than other times. So energy work can be really helpful in assisting you. And then if you put that combination together of working with an energy healer who's also very gifted at being a coach, like me, then you get the best of both worlds. And you will be able to help the body, but you will also be able to work with those limiting beliefs or that chaos that can come forward that can actually increase your body having a little bit more difficulty. So there's different ways that you can go about it. Activations and awakening work really well with some support. There's just no question about it. You're often going to be challenged in how you're looking at something. You will be challenged to change a belief system or multiple ones, and they can be ones you've held on to dearly for a long time. When we're holding on to a belief system or even a single belief that is no longer working for us, it will challenge our identity and how we look at ourselves. And many people, I'm not going to say everyone, because there are a few that don't do this, but majority of us, we go into defending this belief, which is then defending a false image of ourselves, because we are receiving information to actually change how we are showing up. But we are defending staying put with the old because we know it. Moving into the new does not have to be scary, does not have to be filled with difficulties. It truly is going to be a part of your choice. If you have that belief, like just that saying, change is hard, well, okay, invite it in. If you look at it from that place of question, like truly questioning, like, hey, so what is going on here? What am I experiencing? What could this be telling me? And if you can adopt the belief that life is happening for you, life is not happening to you, right? Life is always happening for you. When you can get to that space, then that opens up a lot more possibilities and opportunities to understand what is going on. You will be less inclined to just slam the door closed and push things away. If spirit wishes to get a message to you, they are going to keep trying and trying and trying again. And you can keep slamming that door and closing those windows and drawing the drapes. But if it's important for you to have that message, they don't give up. That love for you and that knowing on the other side that this is for your benefit, it does not waver. It can take a while, but those messages, those 2x4s up the side of the head, whatever you want to call it, those pits that you drop into, they are happening for you. And this is where getting guidance and help is really, really beneficial. Okay, we have one more moment here before I need to go to my next break. Let me just check in and see if there's something they would quickly like to be shared with you. So activations truly are for your benefit, regardless as to how much ease there is with it. And remember, it is you that is causing the dis-ease in it. They are not designed to cause harm. They are designed to enhance, to support you, and to help you bring information, awareness, light, heart-centeredness to the world in a way that is beyond what you're currently doing. Doesn't mean where you are isn't great. I mean, it can be phenomenal what you're doing, and that heart-centeredness you have, and that love of helping others and gifting and being there. But it's going to be up-leveled if you are open to letting it do so. Sometimes it's a big ask, and sometimes it's very, very small, and the stepping stones are so nicely laid out. And then you go back and you look back over a year or 5 or whatever years. Like when I look back over the last 6 to 7 years, I'm astounded at the changes, the downloads, the activations, the processing that has been happening with me for me, all enabling me to show up for you in a way I didn't even imagine was possible before. Let the fears and doubts go. Happy to have a chat with you at any time if you like. You know you can send me an email, right? Karen@KarenLeslie.ca. It's all good. All right, we're going to go for our third and final break. When we get back, I'm going to try and wrap all of this up very neatly for you. I have a challenge that I'm going to get some support and figure out over the next 90 seconds or so. All right, everyone, don't go away. We'll be back really soon.
We all have different experiences with and definitions of kindness. These experiences and beliefs about kindness have influenced who we are today and how we see the world. The universe is always listening. So what are you telling the universe today? Tune in to Cultivating Kindness with Karen each week as Karen guides you to understanding how each choice you are making is either keeping you stuck or opening up the energy of empowerment for you. Listen to Cultivating Kindness with Karen, Wednesdays at 2 p.m. Eastern Time, 1 p.m. Central Time, 12 p.m. Mountain Time, 11 a.m. Pacific Time on InspiredChoicesNetwork.com. This is Cultivating Kindness with Karen. To participate in the program, join the live studio audience in our chat room at InspiredChoicesNetwork.com. You can also send an email to Karen@KarenLeslie.ca. Now, back to the program.
Welcome back, everybody. I was listening to the words, the commercials that were there, and really, this is all about opening up the energy of empowerment for you. Downloads and activations are here to assist you. They're here to let you know how amazing you are, how brilliant you are. And for vast majority of us walking around here, we don't see it. We don't recognize it. We've been taught to not see it. Oh, don't be so egotistical, and oh, you shouldn't be so full of pride, and all these words. What is wrong with feeling good about yourself? From my perspective, nothing is wrong about feeling great about who you are. It empowers you to be the person you would love to be, to do the things you would love to do. And even if you're doing them, to do them more, or to do them in a way that you have not yet become aware of. Empowerment. That is downloads and activations. Supporting you. Downloads and activations. Remember, everything is meaningless until you give it meaning. So what meaning have you given these words in the past? And how do you see them now? I really hope that doubt and worry and fear or whatever is now moving to the side and being let go of. Your spiritual path is unique to you. It's yours and only yours. And from my perspective, nobody has the right to tell you if it's right or wrong. To me, it's your job to figure out what's working for you and what's not. Yes, we can get guidance and counsel from others. Yes, we can receive energy work to help with our bodies and to work with smoothing out some of those rough bits. But at the end of the day, it's up to you. As you embarked on this life, when you arrived here as that teeny tiny little gorgeous baby, you started your journey. And it's probably had some twists and turns and some bumps in it. But it's a lifelong journey, and you will always have the opportunity to work with it. Doesn't mean you go from a twisty-turny road to a straight one. I don't believe it does. Mine certainly hasn't yet. But every twist and turn gives me, and hopefully you, information that you can choose to work with. Brings you closer to knowing who you are and what it feels like to be present in your body. It is so important for you to know what feels good for you, and to be present in your body is a recipe for bringing you joy and peace and what is laid in your heart as your deep desires. We came with an agenda, we came with a contract, we came with a purpose, whatever words you want. We all forget it. It's part of the process to coming into the human body. But you can receive information to help you and guide you. The downloads. Like often a download too, when the words come in and you say something to somebody and they just go, what? And you see the impact of those words on that other person, that is a sure giveaway that what you just said was a download. It's different than just like, saying, oh, I saw this really amazing, and then fill in the blanks and you talk about it. It comes through differently. It's really cool. You've all had them. You have. It's now a question of, would you like to be aware of them? Would you like to be able to work with them, right? The universe is always listening to you. I mean, that's in the commercials, and I say it all the time. We are moving into a time frame where downloads and activations are now becoming normal, everyday occurrences. They never were for only the few and special. We bought into that, and so that's what happened, and that's what we created. But that was not the original intention from my perspective. This is now a normal occurrence for all people, right? It will be, like activations and things, will be more likely on the universe's timing, but we still have a part in that. You can set the stage to receive more and to receive with more ease, but that's a choice you have to make. Right. I don't want to forget, let you know about next week's show. So the show's called The Solution is Already Here. I see connections already. We'll see what happens over the next week and what other downloads I get before the show next week. But yes, the solution is already here. And some of you are going to go, I have never experienced that. I have a hard time finding a solution to a problem or a difficulty. It's always feeling elusive. Well, if that's you, then please tune in. Please come and listen live. Join the chat room. Bring your questions. And let me help you see how this can be changed. Remember, you gave it that meaning that you can't find the solution. Someone else has that meaning that, yeah, I totally can do that. And the results are showing up in your life. So let's explore this together next week. In the meantime, I hope this has been helpful on activations and
Thank you for listening to Cultivating Kindness with Karen. Karen Leslie returns Wednesdays at 2 p.m. Eastern, 1 p.m. Central, 12 p.m. Mountain, 11 a.m. Pacific on InspiredChoicesNetwork.com. You can find Karen at KarenLeslie.ca and follow her on social media. Until next Wednesday, Karen is sending you waves of kindness for a fabulous week. Remember, it's only you who has the power to be and receive the kindness required to change your life.